I am so looking forward to being with you all at the SDI conference this year. I've been looking forward to this for months because I feel like this gathering is the perfect kind of elixir for our times, that it is only together that we can hope to navigate the spaces of unknowingness that are opening to us in the world right now as old systems and ways of thinking and being dissolve. And there is this combined sense of fear and fearlessness that's emerging in the human family.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you a few questions about unknowing and fierce and tender, the fierce and tender feminine, and how basically a feminine approach to unknowing helps us move through paradox, helps us navigate uncertainty, and probably most importantly, helps us wrestle with our fears.
So in this climate of collapse, the kind of dissolution or melting, dissolving of many of the systems and structures that we have collectively relied upon to give our lives meaning and shape, there is this invitation right now for many of us to enter into a space of intentional, fearless not knowingness. And it turns out that the mystics of all spiritual traditions have left us kind of little fires in the wilderness to mark our way, places and spaces where we can take refuge in teachings like the dark night of the soul, the cloud of unknowing, and many others in multiple spiritual traditions. I am finding that there is something about the fierce and tender wisdom of the feminine that is particularly at home in ambiguity, in paradox, in surrender. And it's not a soft, mushy kind of approach that I'm speaking of that is heart-centered and has no structure or robust shape to hold it. It is a fierce discernment that invites us to fearlessly inhabit the mystery. It's where the feminine is most at home. And so growing up the way I did, where I was not grounded in a particular religious ideology, belief system, or set of practices, but exposed to the glory and luminosity of so many spiritual traditions, it's very natural for me to draw on them all in these times of uncertainty and collapse, and to enter into this new, not yet formed, emerging reality with hope, with faith, and with a tenderness of heart. So this is what I will be inviting us into in this conversation about the fierce and tender wisdom of the feminine and cultivating a fearless heart and a willingness to not know.
I have to throw in a follow-up here. I'm scared. I'm afraid of what the future holds. I'm worried about losing myself. I'm worried about my purpose. I'm worried about my meaning. What would you say to me as my spiritual companion, as my spiritual director? What would you say to me to help me overcome this fear that is shaking me to my core?
I don't know if the human family is going to survive and thrive going forward. And I am okay with not knowing. And I would like to make a safe space for you to be okay with not knowing. So that even if what is to come is the further collapse and disintegration of all the structures that have upheld us, and that this new reality will include almost a purging of everything that used to seduce us into a false kind of complacency. I would like to invite you to join me in being present for the collapse itself, so that when people are clinging and afraid, we can hold them and help them soften their grip and release that kind of stranglehold on the old reality and yield to a new emerging divine or sacred truth that we don't know yet, that we cannot know yet. So that in some ways we might together serve as midwives for the death and rebirth that is coming, without attachment to what it might look like. And I feel like this gathering is a way that we will remember to harness our togetherness, to remember that we belong to each other, and that by cultivating intimacy and relationship with our spiritual companions on the way, we can in fact co-create a radiant and healthy and robust and awakened world. Thank you.
Thank you.